CryptoSlo, cryptocurrency news and investing.
CryptoSlo with more crypto gains. What's going on, guys? Synthetix gains are what we're talking about tonight, and tonight's presentation is the Synthetix Network Token, SNX full tutorial. So let's get right into it and talk about Synthetix and what exactly it is. Synthetix, formerly known as Haven, is a crypto-backed asset that enables creation of on-chain synthetic assets. The Synthetix is a decentralized payment network where users transact directly in a price-stable cryptocurrency. Those who use the stablecoin pay fees to those who collateralize the network, compensating them for the risks of providing collateral and stability. So, in a nutshell, what is it? SNX is basically a DApp on steroids. It is a collateralized debt position that runs on the Ethereum network. Alright, let's get into it. Let's look at some of the characteristics and important things about SNX. First and foremost, coin count. There's 145 million-ish circulating supply, and total supply is 151 million. So in my point of view, this is a low count. This is a low total supply coin compared to a lot of the other coins on the market that have billions in potential circulation. 52-week range up to $1.06. Like I said at the time of this video, it's a little later tonight. It's actually $1.09. So this is really kind of totally moved up in the last couple weeks. So other than that, what exchanges? Mainly it's KuCoin, and we use a thing called Uniswap, which allows us to convert from one coin to another, like primarily ETH. Now, SNX is an ERC20 token. That means it runs on the Ethereum network, so you do have those gas fees associated with making moves related to this coin. Now, will SNX mainnet? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their plans were. It would be sweet if they did, because then we could get maybe like the speed of Tron or something implemented into it. It would be a pretty cool scenario for that to happen. So, as you can see in this last year, it's definitely had some very solid gains, and this is in a bear market, keep in mind. So speculatively, can't complain. Couldn't ask for more from a coin's performance. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a 30,000 foot overview. And you're like, well, why are you approaching it this way? Well, we're going to do the 30,000 foot overview so that you can kind of let this whole concept of decentralized finance marinate in your brain, because it's a lot to take in. In a lot of the videos that I've seen relating to SNX, the complexity level is kind of high, or they've got a whiteboard, and I'm trying to break it down into multiple phases so that it's a little easier to understand. So I'm going to do the 30,000 foot overview. I'll do the detailed overview, and then I'm going to actually do a SNX transaction and show you the full process of how you would get in on this if that's what you decide to do. Now, first and foremost, let me put a warning out there. This is a complicated decentralized finance system. It is early, in my opinion, in this, and part of the reason why it hasn't totally exploded yet is that there is a level of complexity to it. But once you get it broken down into its basic elements, it's not too bad at all. Alright, so I have basically spent a little time and built the SNX 30,000 feet overview flowchart. And you're like, oh, this is a lot to take in, a lot to take in. So let's start from the beginning. First and foremost, the 30,000 foot overview assumes that you already have some SNX token, and you would get this on KuCoin or using Uniswap. You're then going to go to the Synthetix network, and you're going to stake or freeze. You're putting it onto the blockchain, SNX as a collateral for a small loan. This loan value would be 13.33% of the SNX value. And what this does is this generates a stable coin called SUSD. Okay. So if you had $1,000 market value of SNX and the system basically determines that for you, and you staked or froze those coins, you would have a $133 loan. So moving on, your SNX is staked and the SUSD is created, and you now have a debt position on the Ethereum blockchain. So you use this SUSD and you go to the Synthetix exchange. So this is an exchange, and you buy a synthetic or synth asset like gold, Bitcoin, ETH. And here's the rub, it can be long or short. Okay, so you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean it's a synthetic asset? So a synthetic asset, basically the synthetic or virtual asset tracks the price of the real asset. So basically there is a thing called the price oracle, and this oracle is constantly collecting prices from the market. And when you buy your virtual asset, like I said, there's a ton of assets available, gold, anything you want. You can long or short it. The long one's going to start with an S, the shorts are going to start with an I, which means inversion, right? Okay, so remember, we staked our $1,000 worth of SNX, we froze it, it minted these stable coins, okay, this ERC20 stable coin. Then we use that stable coin and we go and buy a synthetic synth asset on the exchange. So now let's say I wanted to buy some virtual BTC. I bought $133 worth of BTC, and you're like, wait a minute, so I've got my SNX frozen, I created a stable coin, and now I own a synthetic asset. So do you see what's happening here? We've created a hedge, or we're using a loan to buy a synthetic asset which tracks the price of the real asset. And then, okay, and you're like, well, what if okay, so let's say I bought that Bitcoin and Bitcoin moons all of a sudden. I can actually then sell my synthetic asset for SUSD, and then I can do whatever I want with that SUSD. I could pay back my debt position if I wanted to exit, or I could go to like Uniswap, buy more SNX, or I could mint more SUSD with my profits. So that's kind of the question over here. How do I make money? Well, a couple ways. Potential gains from SNX price speculation. That's not guaranteed, of course. Your virtual asset, your synth asset, increasing or decreasing depending if you're long or short, obviously if it goes the correct way. So almost think of it as like a margin account, and you capture that spread between the actual value and the value. And then here is something that's sweet, and the DApp people will love this. You're getting divs, which are actually paid as fees of 1% a week. And those are from network activity of people buying, selling, this, that, whatever, right? So you get that 1%. Now, there is a rub on that 1%, and that is it is held in a rolling 12-month escrow. So you're going to get paid 1%, but it is paid as more SNX. The SNX is locked up for 12 months. But once that 12 months expires, you can unlock it and do whatever you want. If you wanted to go back here, restake it, create more SUSD, and then buy a synthetic asset. Now, here's another thing. If the SNX price increases, so back over here, your debt collateralization ratio of 13.33% or 750% is going to change. What that allows you to do is you can actually mint more SUSD from the price gains on SNX. So this is going to begin to make more sense. So really breaking it down into 2 or 3 steps. You have your SNX, you're staking it, freezing it, you're getting a small loan. and that loan is given to you as a stable coin. You use the stable coin to buy a synthetic asset. That's pretty much it. So let's move on to the detailed flowchart of how you do this. Okay, the next step, the Synthetix flow, the detailed chart. So this is kind of the detailed how-to. Now, with that being said, it is a good idea, so like maybe just go in with like $50 or $100 just to play around with the network when you do decide to start doing this. Now, I'm going to leave very detailed instructions in the description, as well as links to all these flowcharts and resources. And if you have any questions, please post them below. And also I will have a link to the white paper, which will get a little more technical. But I do believe for a lot of people it'll probably be easiest just to get into it, play around a little bit, and then go back and read the white paper, or read the white paper and then reread it later, because it's like I said, there's a lot of steps, but once you understand it, you'll understand the genius of this whole network. So first and foremost, we start. We install the MetaMask Chrome Ethereum wallet. This works in Google Chrome, pretty standard. Link in the description. Install that. Send some ETH from your exchange, like Coinbase, Binance, whatever, to your MetaMask Ethereum wallet. The next step is you have to buy some SNX. You can get it on KuCoin. They have kind of the highest volume at the moment. Or you can use uniswap.io, which allows you to insta-swap coins. However, the fees are going to be a little higher there. But if you're just doing it on a small basis and want to do it quickly, then it's not so bad. The next step is you're going to go to the SNX Minter dApp. That's at mintersynthetix.io. Once again, link down below. This is where you actually will mint your stablecoin. You're basically at the point where you're taking that loan, and that loan comes to you as a stablecoin, and you're staking your SNX. So stake your SNX, mint the SUSD, and you're getting 13.33% or a collateralization value of 750% of your SNX value. So if you have $100 worth of SNX, you will get $13.30 of stable coin. Okay, next we're going to go to an exchange and we're going to buy a synth virtual asset. I use that term interchangeably. Synth or synthetic asset, it's just basically that S or I asset. Personally, keep it simple. Maybe just get a little BTC, long or short, that's up to you. Do your own research. And that's at Synthetix Exchange. Synthetic asset can be anything, long or short. Long start with S, shorts start with an I for inverse. Okay, so now you've got your SNX, you froze it, you created a stable coin, and you went and bought some synthetic asset. And you're like, when, Lambo? Not quite yet. Alright, so what you need to do is periodically go back to the minter and check your collateralization level. The minter will tell you if you're at the 750% level. Okay? Now, if that shoots up to 800%, 900%, you actually may want to mint some more stablecoin and loop in your gains. So you've had some gains. So basically, as SNX goes up and down, you can capture these trades on basically by minting more SUSD. Okay. On the minter, if collateralization is above 750, you can mint some more SUSD and repeat the process. All right. Every week you need to go and collect your divs, baby. So this is what I was talking about. Those are the div fees of SNX that are held in escrow for 12 months. So it's a 12 months, but this shows you the long-term viability of this. This SNX remains in escrow for 12 months, in which will become claimable. Be sure to claim your reward or it can expire. So if you don't check this thing every 2 weeks at least, at a minimum, twice a month, you can lose gains. So make sure you're going back there. And like I said, I'll show you what I'm talking about here soon. If virtual asset goes up or down and is profit, you can sell some of it back to SUSD for profit, or you can trade it for more virtual asset. So that's completely up to you, or you can keep your collateralization level higher at the moment. To reclaim your SNX, you have to sell some of your virtual asset back as USD. Now, remember, if you did $100, we owe $13. So in order to unlock those SNX from the freeze and claim them, you have to pay back your debt. When you pay back your debt, that is lost. That fee is lost. That $13 will be lost. So the incentive is to keep your SNX frozen. So that's kind of part of the genius of the system of keeping that closed loop with the stable coin. It's just pure genius. So now let's actually go and do a transaction. Right, so let's do a transaction. Like I said, I'm assuming you have the MetaMask installed, right, inside your Google Chrome browser, and I'll leave the link down below for that. As I mentioned earlier, there's the Synthetix white paper, November. It's just updated, it looks like. So like I said, it gets a little thick, but once again, you kind of have to let this marinate in your brain. Watch the video a couple times, read the white paper, and you'll begin to understand this and basically just DeFi finance. And it's just, this is going to be the future of a lot of things. So now, and another thing I didn't talk about was the Synthetix Dashboard. So there's actually this nice handy dashboard that you can go to at any time. You see the Kyber Network's #1 volume, KuCoin, Gate.io, Liquid, and like I said, you can also use Uniswap. I personally was using KuCoin, and typically you can get it within a penny of whatever market is. So it's pretty liquid, so it's not too bad. And like I said, if you're on KuCoin, click on markets, and you do a search, SNX BTC. So basically you would buy this like any other ERC20 coin, and then basically after you bought it, you would send the coin to your MetaMask wallet. Now that's assuming you know how to use MetaMask. As I mentioned before, you also have the Uniswap option protocol. So if I had 1 ETH, and then I could select a token, SNX, okay, that's going to get me 173 SNX. So yeah, it shows you what the exchange rate is. So not very difficult. If you don't have a KuCoin, there's no AML, KYC or anything with the Uniswap, so it is an easier way to get into it if you have to do that. So with that being said, let's start our transaction. We assume we have some SNX in our wallet. So the first step really is to go to the minter. And when you get to the minter, you arrive, there's a little tutorial stuff telling you what it is, why stake, blah, 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 what are the risks. And then you click over here on MetaMask, and you'll see we are on the minting UI. This is one of the primary UIs that you will use, and you can see right now my debt ratio is 787%. So I am over my 750. So in a way, that's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and mint my stablecoin. So when I mint the stablecoin, it stakes or freezes your SNX in the contract on the blockchain, and then it mints my stablecoin. So we're going to click on mint. And you're like, well, I don't know how much to mint. Well, it's pretty simple. You just hit max, and it's going to do the math for you. Okay, so it says I'm going to mint $17.49 worth of SUSD stablecoin. So I hit mint, accept this on the thing, and then the transaction is in progress. So I'm going to wait for that to come. So that is how you stake. So then over here you see I have all my dynamics. You have basically what your current collateralization level is, your debt ratio, what my SNX is worth, how many I have, and then you have your debt, okay, and then that's, you say I can have $353. So if I wanted to take my SNX to market right now and sell it, I would have to pay back that $353, okay? So that's kind of what that happens, okay? Also on this screen we have the escrow system, so you can see from my first bit, I had like I said, a couple hundred shares. I got 10.54. That's my 1 week 1%, as they say, and that is locked until November 2020. At which point I am vested and I could claim it. Okay, has all your transactions, the depot, deposit USD into the queue to be sold on Synthetix exchange for ETH. So you can also sell your SUSD that you mint. So this would be another way you could make gains. Is, let's say your synthetic asset goes up and you've got that gap, you could sell some of it for SUSD and then you could liquidate it on the market. So while we wait for that to confirm, and you can see it's still pending, okay, so after I get that, I'll receive that SUSD, which will show up in my MetaMask wallet, and in order to see that, basically you have to add the contract number to your MetaMask wallet, and then you can see the SUSD. Now, this is an important note. There is liquidity for SUSD outside of this platform. So when you get that SUSD, you could do anything you want with it. Technically, when I mint this SUSD, I don't have to go buy a virtual asset, right? I could go liquidate it. But remember, you still have to pay back your debt down here. So okay, so the next step is to go to the Synthetix Dashboard and buy a virtual asset. So connect your wallet, MetaMask, as always. It's going to grind around. Okay, so there's two modes. There's basic mode and pro mode. Pro mode is a little more complicated. You can see some of the trading pairs and stuff down here. Go back to basic mode. So they've tried to make it as simple as possible. So remember when I said we staked our SNX and we got SUSD. That's what we're gonna basically get. Okay, so over here I'm gonna select my SUSD, and then this is where you decide which asset you want to buy. So you can see these assets here. Okay, so if I wanted Bitcoin, okay, SBTC, that's what I would select. So there is my virtual Bitcoin. So, and then the easiest way to do it is hit Trade Max, okay? And then when you hit Trade Max, it's going to fill that information in here and that, and then you're going to confirm the transaction, and then you own some of that synthetic asset. Now, things to keep in mind. Your synthetic asset, that's your job to keep track of if it's going up or down. But ultimately, an important thing to keep in mind here is that, let's see, let's go back to Synthetix Dashboard. Oh, we got to go back to the minter. The most important thing to keep in mind is your collateralization level is based on the market price of SNX, not your virtual asset. Your virtual asset is kind of like a freebie where you're trading it. Okay, so let me simplify this again. So you give me some collateral, I give you a loan, and then you take that loan and then you try to open a lemonade stand. If the lemonade stand makes money, you could pay your loan back quicker. or if the lemonade stand loses money, it'll take additional resources to pay your loan back. So that's kind of the idea. The virtual asset is actually a hedge on the core asset, which is your SNX. So, and then as this price changes, like I said, it's going to change your collateralization level. So the most important thing you can do is check in on at the minter, at least, initially you're probably going to check it several times a day, just because you're like, where's my stuff, so like I said. Oh, and then here was your claim, where you claim your rewards. Okay, and remember how I said you get your 1%? It shows up here. So yeah, so that's the most important part, is you keep an eye on your collateralization level. So if if this debt ratio gets out of hand, then your SNX is locked until you're able to pay this debt back. So ultimately you're going to have enough SUSD to pay this debt back. So make sure you don't overextend yourself. So that's pretty much it. I'm probably going to have a secondary tutorial on this, talking about the more advanced concepts once people kind of understand the basics of this. But ultimately, you're staking a coin as collateral, you're getting a stable coin as a loan, you're buying a virtual asset which you hedge to go up or down, you get divs for being part of the network and being frozen, and this whole cycle just continues. And like I said, the current market cap is 150 million. They've literally added $50 million in the last couple weeks. It was crazy. So like I said, it's a pretty hot platform. I don't see any holes in it right now, other than the fact that the UI is a little complex, and you're going to two different you're going to the exchange to manage your virtual asset, and you're using the mentor to mint and claim your rewards. So that could be a little confusing or overwhelming, but just follow the steps, and like I said, I will write the steps out in the description of the video too. And my intent is to present this in 3 or 4 different ways, so that hopefully it reaches you and you can have a basic understanding of this and how this DeFi network works. So hope you enjoyed tonight's video. Look forward to more videos on SNX. It's a very interesting platform with a lot of potential, in my opinion. This is CryptoSlo. If you're not talking gains, then we're not talking.